نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا وعظيمنا وحبيبنا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها وإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. ثم أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His book, He likes to create imagery for us. He likes to show us the difference between belief and non-belief. The difference between being a believer, being a hypocrite, and being a non-believer. He paints this picture for us in a passage in Surah Al-Hadid. He speaks about the people of light and the people of darkness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says to us, يَوْمَ تَرَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَسْعَى نُورُهُمْ بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَبِأَيْمَانِهِمْ بُشْرَاكُمُ الْيَوْمَ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. He says, the believing men and the believing women, in that day, on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, you see them, you look at them, and they are filled with light. There is light in front of them, there is light around them. And you know the famous hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam where he says, the people of wudu, you will see their hands are filled with light, the areas where they used to make wudu, filled with light. And in this passage, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He describes the people of light, نُورُهُمْ يَسْعَى بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ, between their hands and within their hands, وَبِأَيْمَانِهِمْ, and to their right, to the right of them. All you will see is light. And the scholars, they say, when they say to their right, it means they're holding their book where? In their right hand. هَا أُمُقْرَأُ كِتَابِيَا, look at my book. This is my book. And He will be very happy on that day. And He will be very satisfied on that day. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us people of the ones who hold our book in our right hand. Allahumma يَوْمَ تَرَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَسْعَى نُورُهُمْ بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَبِأَيْمَانِهِمْ. These people, what are they destined towards? جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا. They will be the people of Jannah. Once you know you have this light, once you know your book is in your right hand, that's it. Alhamdulillah. This is the moment to be rejoiced. This is the moment to be happy. This is the moment, that is the great triumph of that day. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from the people of Jannah. Allahumma ameen. Be satisfied. Be celebratory. Be in celebration on that day. Jannatin tajri min tahtiha al-anhar, the gardens of Jannah, the beauty of Jannah. Khalidina fiha, you'll be there forever. ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. This is the great triumph. This is the greatness of the hereafter. And this is the believing men and women. The believing men and women will be in this state. And we ask Allah to make us from this state. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He describes another group of people right after this. Right after this, He starts to describe individuals. And as you see these individuals, so you see the people of light. You see a group of people in the distance. On that day, it will be pitch black without this light. On that day, on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, you will not be able to see anything. You will be in fear because you can't see. You will be in fear because it's pitch black. And everybody's getting ready. Everybody's coming together, getting in line to be judged. And so, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He continues, He says, يوم يقول المنافقون والمنافقات للذين آمنوا انظرونا نقتبس من نوركم. The munafiqs, the people that say that they believe in Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the hypocrites, the people that pretended to pray, the people that when everybody went for Jumu'ah, they went for Jumu'ah. When people get up to pray, they went to pray. But if people sit down, they sit down. If people doing something wrong, they're in the crowd. The hypocrites are individuals who, when it comes to their belief, they're not very strong. When it comes to their belief, they make sacrifices in their faith. When it comes to their iman, they will sell it for money. They will sell it for a job. They will sell it for an individual. The hypocrite is the individual who isn't in full belief. He might be or she might be of the understanding that they believe, because they might come to the masjid maybe once in a while for Jumu'ah. They might be doing certain acts of worship with the people. Maybe they only show up for Eid Salah, Allahu A'lam, right? Whatever that is. But these people, they're not thinking about accountability. This is the key point. The hypocrite, he's going with the flow, but he's not thinking that I will be judged. Judgment. It's easy that this hypocrite, or anybody in this world, it's easy for us to say, believe in Allah, here's the evidence. It's easy for us to say, this is the Quran, here's the proof. It's easy to do this. But the one thing that a disbeliever or a hypocrite is unable to do, very difficult point. The most difficult thing is that they're unable to change. They hate change. They want to keep doing what they're doing. And they don't want to suffer the consequences of what they do. They don't like change. This is the key point. لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا انظُرُونَ. Look over there. They see it's pitch black, remember. Then they see this light in the distance. انظُرُونَ. Look, over there. They see this light. نَقْتَبِسْ مِن نُورِكُمْ. Hey, you over there. Give us some of your light. Iqtibas means, in Arabic, if I have a torch, if I hold something and it has a fire, and the fire is lighting up the room or lighting up the area, Iqtibas means I take this torch and I put it on another one to make it also light, just like a candle. If I have a candle, there's a light on the candle, I want to put fire on the other parts of the candle, then I start to distribute. And this is Iqtibas, this is what they're asking for. Give us some of your light. نَقْتَبِسْ مِن نُورِكُمْ قِيلَ ارْجِعُوا وَرَاءَكُمْ. They will say to them, the believing men and women, they will tell them, go back. ارْجِعُوا وَرَاءَكُمْ. See, on that day, brothers and sisters, on this day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَتَقَطَّعَتْ بِهِمُ الْأَسْبَابِ. He says, all relationships on this day will be cut. No one will care about you. You're on your own. يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ وَأُمِّهِ وَأَبِيهِ وَصَاحِبَتِهِ وَبَنِيهِ لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مِّنْهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ شَأْنٌ يُغْنِيهِ. Your mother won't care about you. Your father won't care about you. Your brother, your sister, everybody. no matter what. Everybody will be thinking on that day, nafsi, nafsi. Myself, me, myself. I'm worried about me today. I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about what the consequences of my action will be. I'm not worried about you. And then there are some exceptions of, those individuals who love each other for the sake of Allah. And there are many examples of this on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah and how they will be towards each other. It's a different topic. And inshallah, maybe one day we'll do that. But in this case, there will be, no one will care. Irji'u wara'akum. Go back where you came from. Go back where? They're saying, go, leave. Go back where? Go back to the dunya. فَالْتَمِسُوا نُورًا. And go find your light. Go back to the dunya and find your light. What does that mean? Go back to the dunya. Go back. See if you can come back to this dunya and then go and do the good deeds. See if you can come back to this dunya and you will be able to perform the salah that you missed. Perform the fast that you missed. Perform the good character towards your parents, towards your brothers and sisters. Go back and do that. Let's see what happens to you. Can you go back, my brothers and sisters? You can. On that day it's over. On that day it's final. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in another verse, وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتُ فَيَقُولَ رَبِّي لَوْلَا أَخَّرْتَنِي إِلَى أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ فَأَصَّدَّقْ وَأَكُنْ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, on a person's deathbed, the angel of death will come. He will say, I'm ready to take your soul. It's game over. You've run out of time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us to give. Anfiq means giving. It means your time. It means your money. It means your effort. It means your love. It means all of it. أَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ. Whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with, whatever rizq He has given you, your rizq can be money and wealth. Your rizq can be your wife. Your rizq can be your children. Your rizq can be your job. Your rizq can be your time. Whatever Allah has given you, give for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتُ. Give for the sake of Allah. Why? Until the moment will come. Before that moment comes, أَنْ يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتُ. Death comes upon you. And you will say to the angel of death, you will speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What will you say? What will you say? فَيَقُولَ رَبِّي لَوْلَا أَخَّرْتَنِي إِلَى أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ. Just give me more time. Just give me one moment so that I can go back. فَأَصَّدَّقْ. I would give and do everything I possibly could. He didn't say, I will go back pray tahajjud. He didn't say, I will go back do hajj. I said, I will give for your sake, Ya Allah. فَيَقُولَ رَبِّي لَوْلَا أَخَّرْتَنِي إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ فَأَصَّدَّقْ وَأَكُنْ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. I would give and I would perform actions that please you, O my Lord. Give me a little bit more time. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to not place us in this situation, but this is the moment that the individuals in this passage are saying, go back where you came from. Go back to the dunya and seek your light and find your light. فَالْتَمِسُوا نُورًا فَضُرِبَ بَيْنَهُمْ بِسُورٍ لَهُ بَابٌ بَاطِنُهُ فِيهِ الرَّحْمَةُ وَظَاهِرُهُ مِنْ قِبَلِهِ الْعَذَابُ. And as they're approaching, they're walking, running towards this light. It's pitch black. They can't see anything but this light. So if you're in a cave, and the cave is pitch black and darkness, and you see like there's a little dot at the end of that cave. So what do? You're going to go the other way where it's dark? No, you see the light, you walk towards the light. And so you keep going. And you keep moving. And as you see this light, all of a sudden, all of a sudden, a wall will come between them. A wall will come between them, the people of light, and the people of dark. بَاطِنُهُ فِيهِ الرَّحْمَةِ. Inside of that, on the light side, there is the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَظَاهِرُهُ مِنْ قِبَلِهِ الْعَذَابِ. The adhab of Allah, the punishment of Allah is approaching these individuals. So imagine, you're walking towards this light, the wall comes in front of you. You can't go up over the wall, you can't go through the wall, you can't go anywhere. And you're scared, and you're worried. These are people who said they believed in Allah. They said they believed in Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The wall will come. They don't know, they can't go through it, they can't go over it. And behind them is the punishment of Allah approaching. What are they doing? They're worried now, sweating with worry. يُنَادُونَهُمْ أَلَمْ نَكُنْ مَعَكُمْ. Then they start yelling over the wall. Weren't we with you? أَلَمْ نَكُنْ مَعَكُمْ. Weren't we with you, O believers? Weren't we with you in the masjid, in the good places? Weren't we fasting with you in Ramadan, praying Tarawih? Weren't we with you? قَالُوا. And they will answer them. قَالُوا بَلَى. Yes, you were with us. وَلَكِنَّكُمْ. Except that there was certain things that you were doing that led you to the position that you're in. And this is the topic of today. What are those things that led those hypocrites and those individuals to the state that they're in? This is how you lose your iman. This is the lesson today. This is how you lose your iman. He said to them, بَلَى وَلَكِنَّكُمْ. Yes, but here's what you used to do. Number one, وَلَكِنَّكُمْ فَتَنْتُمْ أَنفُسَكُمْ. Number one, the first thing that you did is that you used to put yourself in places of fitna. You used to go to that cafe or that lounge where everyone around you is smoking. And you said, it's okay, I'm just sitting down, I'm not smoking. You were in the places where there was lots of foul language being spoken. And you said, it's okay, I'm not the one saying those words. And you were working in that place where the mingling of men and women was so intimate that it was disgusting. And you allowed yourself to stay there. Shake hands, hug, whatever it is. You were an individual who, when you wanted to buy a home, you made it so desperate for yourself and for your family to get a home no matter what. And maybe, Allahu A'lam, what circumstances people are going through. We're not here to judge. But we ask Allah to guide us so that we don't make the mistakes like this, or to put ourselves in places of fitna. You go and you take riba for whatever reason, to do whatever it is good that you think you're going to do. You put yourself in states of fitna. You were with those friends who were not good friends, who were not practicing friends, who when the time of prayer came, they didn't remind you to pray. They told you to go somewhere else. فَتَنْتُمْ أَنفُسَكُمْ. You put yourself in places and environments of fitna. Number one. Number two, when you did that, what happened to you? فَتَنْتُمْ أَنفُسَكُمْ. You said to yourself, just one more time, I'm going to meet this friend, and then I'm not going to meet this friend anymore, because you know it's wrong. You realize where you are is incorrect. You realize that you shouldn't be there, or you shouldn't do this. وَتَرَبَّصْتُمْ. So what happened? You know you shouldn't be there, and you say you're going to change. But what did you do? You procrastinated. Procrastination means next time, tomorrow, after I do Hajj, after I go for Umrah, after I memorize this Quran, after I start coming to the masjid more frequently, after I learn this, after I do this, after this happens, after that happens. Excuse, procrastination. Why? Because you think that you still want a taste of it. And you think that you're going to change in the future. But this is a delusion. You're fooling yourself. So what did you do? You put yourself in places of fitna. And then you start to realize that maybe you shouldn't be there. But then you keep saying, I'll change tomorrow. I won't do this anymore. I won't do that anymore. I won't be in that environment anymore. I won't talk to this person anymore. After I go to Hajj, after I come back from prayer, after I go to this place. There's a story of a man. This is how it works. You come to the masjid, you're going to say, I'm going to stay between Maghrib and Isha, do i'tikaf, right? And then you see a brother that you haven't seen in a long time. Say, Assalamu alaikum, how are you? Come to my house for coffee and tea. You made intention to make i'tikaf between Maghrib and Isha, to be in the masjid. But he comes and says, let's go have coffee and tea. Let's go to, I'm from Canada, we say, let's go to, Tim Hortons, which we, alhamdulillah, we boycott, but, some cafe. We go to some cafe and have a drink, right? What happened? You got distracted. And you were taken away to another place, right? That's how it works. It only takes one little small thing. And you make intention for yourself. Oh, it's my friend, I want to see him, do da'wah, say salam, give my salam to my brother, etc. And you make these excuses, right? فَتَنْتُمْ أَنفُسَكُمْ وَتَرَبَّصْتُمْ وَارْتَبْتُمْ. What happened when this occurred? You put yourself in places of fitna. You procrastinated to avoid all those wrong actions. And it led you to be delusional. Delusional that one day Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to hold you accountable. Delusional to the day that you're going to meet Him just like they met Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on that day. You became delusion, meaning that your mind was in a different place. Your mind was somewhere else. You were distracted. وَغَرَّتْكُمُ الْأَمَانِيُّ حَتَّى جَاءَ أَمْرُ اللَّهِ وَغَرَّكُمْ بِاللَّهِ الْغَرُورُ. And the biggest deceiver of this life deceived you. The shaitan, he got you. The shaitan led you astray. الشَّيْطَانُ يَعِدُكُمُ الْفَقْرَ وَيَأْمُرُكُمْ بِالْفَحْشَاءِ. The shaitan, Allah says, the shaitan is what? He wants poverty for you. Poverty in what? Wealth? Only money? No. Poverty in your faith, poverty in your Quran, poverty in your prayer or your khushu' in prayer, poverty in your actions, poverty in your dress, poverty in your face, poverty in your happiness, poverty in your iman. This is what he wants for you. And he wants you to commit the fawahish. He wants you to go to the wrong things, but he doesn't get you, right away. He gets you slowly. One day it's cafe, the next day it's somewhere else. One day it's one brother, one bad person, he meets you, then it's somebody else. And that group expands and grows. Next thing you know, you're traveling somewhere. That's incorrect. That's not good. That's not a place of worship. It's not a place of iman. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us, to protect our children. Allahumma ameen. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. As we mentioned that this passage was meant to inspire you, inshallah, to be individuals who are, number one, don't put yourself in places of fitna. If you think that a place you're going to, a place you're going to be, a person you're speaking to is a place of fitna, get out of it. Run away. Run to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance. Number two, don't procrastinate change. If you want to change yourself today. If you want to change yourself now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. The only thing guaranteed in this life is your death. And only Allah knows when that day will come. And we only ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from people who die in a good state. In a state of iman. Allahumma ameen. And the last thing is don't allow the shaitan, don't allow things to distract you. Don't be filled with distractions. Understand your distraction. Your phone is a distraction. Cut it down. Don't make so many calls anymore. Half of the calls that we make are meaningless anyways. Oh, brother, da'wah. Oh, brother, no. Cut it down. How many times do you open your phone and verses opening the Quran? How many times? Too many times. The scholars, they say, there shouldn't be a day that you go except the eyes have seen and opened the Quran. Every single day, your eyes must have seen the Quran, the verses of Allah. Don't go one day without this. If you want change, it starts there. The Quran will change you. The Sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam will change you. But it all starts with what? With yourself. So look at yourself and ask yourself, where is my heart today? And if it is that I need to change, change quickly. Change today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Avoid the distractions. Purify yourself in this masjid. Purify yourself with the prayer. For the prayer is purity and forgiveness in between prayers, from Jumu'ah to Jumu'ah, from all aspects of the prayer. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from the people of prayer and the people who pray on time. Allahumma ameen. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداء الدين اللهم إنا نسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والغنيمة من كل بر والسلامة من كل إثم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة هي لك رضا ولنا فيها صلاح إلا ما قضيتها يا رب العالمين. اللهم أصلح أحوالنا وأحوال المستضعفين من المؤمنين في كل مكان. اللهم أصلح أحوالهم. اللهم سدد رميهم. اللهم اجمع كلمتهم على الحق المبين يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم أعد المسجد الأقصى إلى رحاب المسلمين. اللهم أعد المسجد الأقصى إلى رحاب المسلمين وارزقنا فيها صلاة قبل الممات يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب النار. وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. عباد الله اتقوا الله اذكروا الله فإن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم وذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. أقيموا الصلاة.